my favorite time of the year is whenever The Voice and American Idol come on TV. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love music. I'm the dude that is up front, plugged in, listening to my favorite country and bluegrass songs all throughout the car ride. And some of my favorite artists are people that have won shows like The Voice and American Idol. Just a few examples are Carrie Underwood and Morgan Wallen. But there's one that holds a special place in many of our hearts. And that is good old North Carolina boy, Wolfpacker, Garner native, and American Idol winner Scotty McCreery. Now, the reason why I love Scotty's song so much is because I can relate to him. There's one song where he talks about a cookout parking lot. And I know that Scotty went to NC State, and I know that I go to NC State. So, that cookout parking lot is probably the same exact one that I go to on Western Boulevard all the time. And then, in another one of his songs, he talks about being way up in the mountains. I'm sure that those are the same mountains that I stare at in amazement as I drive down the Blue Ridge Parkway. But sometimes he chooses to take more of a serious route with his songs. There's one song called The Dash where he has a line that says, "That little black line defines a legacy." A legacy. It's what we leave behind to those that come after us. And whenever we think about it, how we live our lives each and every day is so important to them. So the question we face is, what determines a good legacy? Now, a lot of my favorite childhood memories can be stemmed back to one person, and that's my dad. Now, my daddy grew up just a little bit differently than I did. He lived in a broken home and was very rarely in a stable place. And although he had a lot of people in his life, he never had one solid role model. As my dad grew up and went through life, he met the love of his life, my mama. Whenever my daddy and mama began having kids, my dad chose to love all of his children unconditionally. But beyond that, he chooses to show those that aren't his unconditional love as well. Whether that be nieces, nephews, kids from church, or even friends that I brought home over the years. He shows us this love by teaching us to ride bikes, watching Sunday football together, or even sitting through every single band concert. These acts of love allow my daddy to teach us, spend quality time with us, and even support us, even in those undesirable moments. Love is something that we hear, and we might even say it often. But the reality of it is that love goes so much deeper than saying, "I love you." There's so much power in those 4 little letters. Bob Goff tells us that the world will have you believe that love can be picked up at a garage sale or enveloped in a Hallmark card. Love is not a cheap thing. Love is complete and total devotion and sacrifice to something or someone. It's being present for that thing or that person at all times. My daddy has spent my whole life exemplifying this very definition of love. And because he loves everyone that he comes into contact with, he can wholeheartedly serve them. Service is a direct result of love. Love and service go hand in hand. One can't be whole without the other. Over this past year, I've had the opportunity to travel all over the land of the longleaf pine and meet some extraordinary folks with a huge heart for service. One of those extraordinary folks is my friend Lizzie. Lizzie was in my small group at State Leadership Conference, and at our very first meeting, we were doing like every other small group meeting ever and doing icebreakers. As we went around the circle and told 3 facts about ourselves, it got to Lizzie, and she was really nervous about talking. So her friends decided to jump in and share facts about Lizzie. And they said, she loves spending time with old people, she dances, and I'll be honest, I don't remember that 3rd fact because I was so intrigued by the old people comment. So after we finished up, I ran over to Lizzie and I was like, would you mind elaborating a little bit on that? And Lizzie began to tell me that every week she volunteers at an assisted living home in her hometown. Wow. The first thing Lizzie's friends thought of wasn't her dog's name, it wasn't the amount of siblings she has or anything like that. It was her love of service. Lizzie loves to volunteer every week. She loves to spend time with those individuals and she loves to serve them. Learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, and living to serve. It says it right there. It says it right there in our motto. It tells us how we should live each and every day. But the reality of it is how often do we take the time and devote it to serving others? Service looks different for everyone. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture. It can be something like holding the door for somebody, or picking up garbage on the side of the road, or even going and sitting with that lonely kid at lunch and hearing their story. Whenever we choose to serve others, we can make a difference in their lives. It's just that, though. It's a choice. We must choose to love and serve others, because love and service go hand in hand, and one can't be whole without the other. If you want to know the importance of a choice, let's just ask that kid that forgot to wear deodorant on his first date, or that individual that didn't study before the ACT, or the girl that ran a red light and ended up getting a huge ticket. All of our choices have a consequence, and a choice can make all the difference in the world. Our legacy can either be worth so much, or it can be worth nothing. We must choose to love and to serve, because that alone defines our legacy. Scotty McCreery tells us that little black line defines our legacy. And one day people are going to look back on our lives, and that little black line is that life. How we live during that time is how we will be remembered. It's not the title on our jacket, the amount of money in our bank account, or the position we hold. But it's how we live each and every day. My daddy and Lizzie are two everyday individuals who are choosing to love and to serve. They're creating their legacy. Wouldn't it be so cool if our lives of love and service were so compelling that others would want to carry on what we began? Friends, let today be the day that we choose to love and to serve so that our legacy can be carried on forever.